Hi everyone, welcome to the Weekly Market Update. So for this week, couple couple of things to share, but it's relatively short. Um, we'll not be going through as usual, like what is the economy data, because as we know, earnings reports coming to the is already ended, or left a few small company. So we'll not be going through as the usual way. So I will be talking mainly more on the charting and what happened over the last week, because last week there is like big data which I mentioned like non-farm payroll and unemployment rate. As you can see that starting this the S&P 500 chart, we can see that the market has been dropping since Thursday. Thursday there's one big drop, and then last Friday, yesterday, basically it's yesterday, on the Friday itself, it has a huge drop as well. And then it actually recovered back before the closing, but it's still close rate. Some people might say that there might be it's Nasdaq or the market is going for the corrections of the 10%, because if let's say last Friday, the market really closed at the end of it. It almost add up to 10%, whereby 10% is actually a corrections where they fall within the same day, right? Consecutive day. So let's take a look on the news itself. So we can see that when the market was actually dropping on the Thursday itself, the VIX is actually the volatility gauge on the markets, whether people are fearful on the market or not. So usually when VIX jump above a certain level, right, people will be more aware or more afraid going to the market, because um, it's actually stand for something that the market is be selling off for the past few days, or that's why the VIX will actually go up. So VIX is actually there to measure the fear in the market itself. So a lot of people will actually use a VIX to gauge, and right now VIX actually shoot above 200-day moving average. As we know that if you are using a technical terms on moving average, 200-day actually is a very significant moving average technical indicator to show that whether the market is at the bear side or at the bull side. So right now, if let's say VIX is above 200 market 200-day moving average, meaning that to say that the market is actually at a break zone right now. So this news is actually happened on the Thursday itself, and then we can see that on Friday the news came out. So what's the news on Friday? Usually the first week of the month, right, is regards to the employment rate and unemployment rate and the non-farm payroll as well. So we know that US gained 1.4 million jobs in August, which is last Friday result, and then how the unemployment rate actually dropped to 8.4%. All right, please be you are reminded to know that drop to 8.4%. 8.4%, yes. Previously we are at 15, all right, 14 plus percent. It dropped to 8.4%, but let me remind you, 8.4% is still a very, very worst case for as an unemployment rate. All right, it's still very high rate over here. So but it's a positive news because it's a big drop from 10.2% last month, dropped to 8.4%, but it's still a four straight decline drop. I mean, the unemployment is still four straight declines. All right, it has been dropping, but then it's still at the high side lah, still at the high side. So, um, but the thing is that it is a positive news to them. So that actually Fed came in and said that um this rate is good. So it's a signal for them to keep the interest rate low, and it could last for years. So for interest rate low, right, it bring a few things to the market. Low interest rate usually will spike up the market, go even higher. All right, but we know that market is all-time high. How high can it go, right? So if for but and it's bad, like I mentioned on my last week education video, how does the interest rate actually affect people who save money, who buy bonds, or people who actually go into the stock market. So if you want to find out more, go to my Facebook page to recap yourself. All right, so this unemployment rate, this non-farm payroll give Powell a good reason to keep the interest rate low. All right, but don't forget they are trying to increase their inflation rate. Right, usually inflation rate go up, they must increase the interest rate. This is the correlationship lah. If you study in the finance, you should know. But this people might take it, hey, good, I can borrow money, my mortgage is even have to pay lower. So this is one of the signal for them. All right, so market will go even higher with this kind of news, but it seems like for the last 2 day market didn't, it came down. So what causes it? Can be a lot of news, but what I can find out is like some things that is related is first is due to this thing. All right, as we know that I keep saying is the headline. Right now, COVID is the next thing that we are monitoring. Why? Because after the Fed, we already know their stance. We already know that Trump is going to have going for election in November, and he promised that the vaccine should be before the elections. The vaccine should be available by then. But right now, uh, this came out. All right. So who is this guy? This guy is actually the head of the of this program, of this vaccine program. He said that um, they see very low chance for the vaccine to be available by late October. So this might actually sparks the concerns to the market itself as well. So if let's say no vaccines, the case keep climbing up, all the business will be affected once again. Airline will be cutting jobs, no more transport, demand for the oil will be getting lower and lower. So it will be repeated case again. And right now, market is all time high. A lot of people are seeing bubble, bubble. But to me, later we will look at the chart and explain. We don't anticipate whether is it bubble or not. We just act according to what the chart tell us. Right? So we can see. So even the World Health WHO, World Health also say that even if there is vaccine, the vaccine might not be enough for the worldwide. Okay, so you see, we are not expecting to see a widespread of vaccines until next year, mid of next year. All right, so this vaccine is actually for people who are more in need first. But if let's say the vaccine successfully created, it's a good news after all. Whether it's enough or not enough, correct or not? So it's a good news. But what I worry is that by November, if let's say they overpromise and the vaccine is not available by then, what's next? All right. So like I say, we don't anticipate. We do chart by chart. All right. So next thing, causing the market to plunge, as you know that Nasdaq has been dropping compared to the other two like S&P and Dow Jones. But this is one of the issue is because maybe Tesla did not go into the S&P 500. So Tesla's shares fall a lot and causing most of the like spill milk spillover effect. So it's causing other tech to fall as well. All right, if you are in my Telegram group, you should know I shared that after the stock split for Tesla and Apple, usually the market will drop. All right, I shared on the Monday itself. Please go and recap if you missed that out. And after Monday, from Tuesday onward, both of the shares have been keep dropping. All right, so this is usually the side effect after the stock split, after the X of the stock split kick into effect. So, and with this news, actually caused the market to plunge because Apple and Tesla has a bigger cap, right? So when both of them drop, it will actually pull out the whole index as well. All right, so this is the news for this week. Let's take a look into the chart right now. S&P 500. I'll be sharing this in my Facebook page to you guys in Telegram as well. I have used Fibonacci extension and say that it might actually break this line 3004, which is successfully go and it successfully break to 61.8%. However, this blue line it acts as a resistance since 2009 global financial crisis. It did not stay above this resistance and it came down. Right, this is a very strong signal. This is a very strong signal. So this resistance act as a protection from like prevent it from going even higher. Otherwise, we will actually aim to go for 78 and then the whole 100%. But right now it came down. So where are we and what are we looking next? So where it came down and it close to the Fibonacci 50%. All right, 50% level, not this purple line, is at here. As you can see, it's 50% here. So it's around 3,420 plus. Okay, it's close here. The good thing is it still stay above the 50%. But if let's say this coming week, if it continue to go lower, we'll actually go by the ladder itself, 38, 23, and then 0% again. All right, but of course, as we know, market when it fall one straight. When it go up, it take a few months to go up. All right, so if let's say it's all very news driven right now. So we shall monitor if let's say it successfully break this previous high, all right, previous high at 3004 around there, and it closed below 3004, we are going to see the 38% next. All right, so this is S&P 500. As for Nasdaq, Nasdaq, since I make a mistake, I say that there is a so-called divergence here. After it successfully broke up, I say it will continue to go up, and it went even higher. Look at this arrow. It's considered like a support right now. So it's been supported, 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 supported. Even on last Friday, it breached down, right? But it's still close above the support. So Nasdaq itself is still very strong after all. All right, it's still very strong after all. It didn't break below and close below that. All right, so candle tell us a lot of things over here. All right, so if you are going to short, not the right time to short. If you are going to long, yes, but it's very uncertain because market is very high right now. Correct or not? So we should, going forward later in this video, I'm going to tell you what other sector can we focus as well. All right, so you don't have to go into always stick into finance. I mean, into technology sector. There's other sector as well. All right, let's take a look at next chart. Next chart, we are looking at US oil, WTI. So oil actually came down. All right, this I have reported plotting this chart since very long ago. Since in my few video, I just stopped mentioning because it has been trending sideways. All right, but it's this stop. I mean this sell order, right? Sell signal, right? Actually provided. I think it's 2 or 3 weeks ago. Like you look at my Facebook page, and I put my stop loss here. I never do any adjustment. All right, for it didn't even reach after all, and then it came down. So if you're shorted by then, right now from loss, from loss you turn profit, but you never get stop out. So it's all about discipline. All right. So will this continue to plunge? Yes. If let's say the COVID vaccine is not ready by then, all right, demand is not there, it will continue to go down. All right. So this I will just continue monitor here. But if let's say based on here, I will try to stay avoid to the energy sector. All right, to the oil and gas company. I will try to avoid because of this. Next, share with you guys previously as well is the utility index. This is a ETF of utility. So I shared on here 31st, if I'm not wrong, as an education posted in my Facebook page. I say that this is a sector that I'm monitoring. So it actually came down and I entered, it go all the way up and it come down. Of course, if let's say the broad market is coming down, this will be affected. But the good thing is that it didn't close above, I mean below this green bar. So its significance that is also very strong. Not very strong, I mean it's strong, all right, not weak compared to others. All right, it's still range bouncing right now. But there's one I mentioned in my video. If you listen carefully at the end of the video, of the education video, I say I will place my bet on this company called WEC. Can you see? WEC is the energy group. So it's actually one of the company under the ETF of utility sector. Out of all, I do my own analysis. I think that WEC is a good company to go. So it actually break, and even though 2 days plunge, it didn't plunge much. Can you see that? Right? So this is the counter I'm going to monitoring next. If let's say there's even more pullback, I'm going to long it. Of course, my cut loss is around 92. I give you a round figure 92. I put around 92.28. So I continue to monitor. Is there any signal for me to enter? If yes, I will share in the Telegram as well. All right, next, let's move on to the next sector, which I'm very, very keen at the moment, is the finance sector. Yes, understand that low rate is actually bad for the bank itself, but sometimes money have to be rotating around different sector. If they have been keep pumping on the technology sector or the consumer sector, right now they have to, in order for them to earn money, they have to sell all out, right? When they sell all out, this money cannot be staying there. Correct or not? Because inflation will cause their $1 become 90 cents tomorrow. So they have to find somewhere to go. Either Bitcoin, as you can see, Bitcoin went even higher but came down last 2 days as well, or continue to go into gold, or they have to rotate to other sector. So finance is the next sector I'm looking at. All right, you look at the weekly chart, as you can see. All right, so it's inching slowly upward. All right, all other sector is actually way before the pandemic already. Only left a few sector, utility of finance. I'm looking into finance because past few days I'm monitoring the shares, and what caught me is actually two of the counter. First is actually JP Morgan. All right, JP Morgan. All right, this is a weekly chart. Can you see? The weekly chart is still close green with a good volume. All right, so it's not being affected. It's not being affected for the last 2 days of plunge. Can you see that high volume but still? All right, and it's still above this line is 100-day moving average. It's still above here right now. So I'm looking good at JP Morgan at first. All right, but then there's one news came out. So I divert or I change my view to another related sector, which is Goldman Sachs. All right, I'm not sure how many of you know this called N Financial. N Financial is actually a bank from the China itself. All right, it's actually, if you don't know N Financial, you can Google it. They are going to list IPO soon. If you don't know N Financial, you should know what is WeChat, right? It's a WeChat Pay, so related to Alibaba as well. They are going to list IPO soon, and this IPO will be the so-called the historically big IPO. All right, it's around 30 billion IPO, and Goldman Sachs is actually one of the bank. They join up, all right, to launch this IPO. So due to that, I take a look at Goldman Sachs chart. I find an interesting over here. All right, you can see that this is a symmetrical triangle, and this is on a weekly chart. So if let's say this is a symmetric triangle on a weekly chart, as there's a breakout successfully closed above the breakout, it signifies very strong, right? Can you see that? And one good thing is above the 100-day moving average. For JP Morgan, you take a look at the weekly chart, it's below the 100-day moving average. For the Goldman Sachs, weekly chart is above the 100-day moving average. Can you see that? That's the difference over here. All right. If you don't believe this is a very significant breakout, right? Remember, I shared Palladium. I put in my Facebook page. I say that Palladium is good to long. How many of you have actually entered but haven't reached the TP yet? Signified correct? Significance or not? Triangle, symmetric triangle, it break out, stay above, and right now, here's the next target. So Goldman said, I will put my bet on here as well with a good volume as well. This earnings report is October, 12 October, so it's still quite far apart, not to worry over here. All right, so continue to monitor if you are really keen. Next thing, one last thing to share on this video will be Carnival stocks. Remember, I shared my Carnival signal as well. I believe we TP out. So I'm looking to enter, but somehow I got distracted to other stuff. I didn't manage to go in. So Carnival actually said that they're going to resume the cruise. I think this weekend. Yes, 6th of September. All right, going to schedule to restart again in Italy. But of course, many people have been trapped, stay at home until crazy, so they need to relax. Yes, we can all go for this cruise right now, but if let's say the cruise going to report someone get hit again on the COVID, right, once again, they will be stuck at the high sea, so it will be badly affected on this. So Carnival is taking the risk, but no choice. Stay on put on dot also a risk, correct? So they're going to resume, and with this news, we can see that Carnival, can you see that? This is the chart. It's very nice double bottom. All right, although we are against the anti-trend, but to be frank, as you guys, we know that cruise and airport, airline is all being affected, restaurant is all affected, but somehow they have to be bounced back. All right, and Carnival is a cash-rich company after all. All right, so good volume, two green candle. We are looking for 23 as the next resistance next. Looking at the day chart, we can see that. Can you see that? It's not affected. It kept even higher even for the 2 days of market drop. So what? All right, pick the right stock and it will help you. So that's all for this week of sharing. If there's any trade signal, definitely will be shared in my Telegram. If you have not subscribed, continue to subscribe it so you can monitor this video. If you want to have signal, then subscribe as well. That's all for me. Have a nice weekend. Bye bye everyone.